You're listening to a Token Nerd Network podcast. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Token Nerd Podcast, where we ramble on about geeky things ranging from Batman to pop figures to Star Wars. I'm Anthony Pettiford.
And I'm Addison Lee.
Alright, well, we are here, and it is episode 51 of this podcast. We are a little over halfway to 100. Recently, our podcasts have been reviews. I think the last two were Wonder Woman and Guardians of the Galaxy, so they're very spaced out. But we're going to return to news-based topics instead of just going over a single movie. So we have a couple things coming up this week, or that came up in the last week, and I guess a couple weeks before. But we'll just dive right in with... actually, I'm going to pull up something that's supposed to come up later. But the Shocker. So in Spider-Man Homecoming, we were told that they were going to be not several villains, but there were going to be a couple villains that would show up. I thought they would be, build-up characters. Like, you would see the beginnings of, I forget what Sandman's name is, but, like, for example, like, you would see him, and then in the next movie, Homecoming movie, or next Spider-Man movie, you would see him as Sandman, or some kind of build-up. But apparently, we're going to get a couple different villains. We know we're getting the Vulture, and we now for sure are going to get the Shocker. So, if I pull up the picture real quick, there was a toy release. So Hasbro has released a toy, or a little 6-inch action figure of the Shocker. And so the figure itself looks very much like the comic books. It's a yellow and orange, I want to say blend, but it's like a yellow and orange color scheme. But what he has on his arms, because he's supposed to release these like shockwaves that he fights Spider-Man and other people with. So he has these gauntlets and these boots. It looks like he stole the costume from not Bone Crusher. What was the villain in
Crossbones?
Crossbones, yeah. So Crossbones from Captain America: Civil War. That's what we're seeing. That's because I know they said that they've been stealing their tech from Avengers. So I thought it'd be like Avenger.
Well, they've been taking it from the the Battle of New York and stuff like that. So they're not really stealing it from the Avengers, but just from the remnants of the battlegrounds.
Okay. Because I would have said it would have been cool if they said, oh yeah, well, Crossbones, and that's what it looks like. It looks like Crossbones, like fist things that he used to fight. It'd be cool if they said they took those and then modified them for this new cause. But yeah, so this is like the first. There was an image that came out with the toys. We got to see Spider-Man fighting the Shocker. It was a very blurry image. I think it came from, I forget what toy fair it came from, London maybe. But anyway, but this is our first full look. It isn't as sleek of a look like this. If the toy's 100% accurate, so it looks like he has like sweatpants on and then like a big heavy vest that I don't know is for protection, like a vest to kind of withstand most hits or whatever the shock, the excess energy that comes off of these gauntlets would be. And he's got a yellow mask that has these weird like not visors but like goggles on them, so they stretch across the head, and then there's little lenses. So he looks like a good mixture of the classic Shocker, which he looked like he had that waffle face, because you can kind of see that pattern in his arms and jacket. And then he has a good mixture of future tech, or not future tech, but modern tech, which are the giant gauntlets. And I feel like that kind of anchors it into the timeline, or at least the current situation of the Marvel universe. It looks very much like what their villains would carry.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think too much about toys. I mean, we grew up in the '90s with a lot of when a lot of movies would come out, especially with Batman. Like I remember when Batman and Robin came out, they had so many different like variant movie toys of Batman that sometimes I don't really. We know Shocker's in it, but I don't take too much to the design because you don't know if like if that's the shocker. Because I also remember when Dark Knight, yeah, it was the Dark Knight came out, and it had like, look at a Batman suit or a winter suit. And it's like, oh, is Batman going to be
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah. There
wintertime?
was the get kids to buy
Yeah,
things.
and then also with Batman v Superman, they had Lex's battle armor, and there was no Lex battle armor in it.
That's very true. I can't
So,
argue with that.
we know that Shocker's in it, but I don't take too much. I don't. Well, I'm not gonna put too much stock into the design of him because you never know if that's it. Because maybe he's not toy appealing in the movie, so they just made him more appealing in the toys, so people will buy it. But
So I just found it's like behind not behind the scenes. It's like shoot spoiler images of the I'm stuttering of Shocker in Spider-Man. So we can see him obviously from this blurry image that I'm looking at. You see his arms, so the gauntlets aren't as big, based on this photo that I'm looking at. And I'm gonna
mhm.
put it on. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna put the image up through as a slideshow. But we see Shocker. It's not as bulky as he was before. I almost like the toy design a little bit better. I like the idea of it being bulkier, but it looks like his hands are smaller, like not smaller, but they're not like giant gauntlets. They're just robotic looking hands. And his jacket isn't orange; it's just brown. That's a little bit of letdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's interesting. I'm gonna hold on to that, and then I'll post it so people can see it online. Uh, wow, you're right. You know what? I wanted to tear you apart about this one, but you're right. Yeah, the toy slightly looks different. It's more vibrant.
Yeah, it's more appealing. So if you see it, you want to buy it. Most likely, the one in the movie is not going to be, you know, toy worthy, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our next topic. So the next topic is in the Marvel Universe, and so we're looking at, according to Variety, Hannah John Kamen, I believe that's how you pronounce it, will be joining Marvel's Ant-Man sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Apparently, Hannah will be joining Paul Rudd, Angeline Lilly, and Michael Douglas. She will be a key role in the movie, but her character's identity is going to be a secret for right now. I guarantee they'll announce it in like a couple months, but right now it's a secret. So I don't feel like we know she's a good looking person. She's young, so she's not as old as Michael Douglas. And I know it's your opinion, but let me just throw this out there real quick. And I know you're probably thinking the same thing. I think she's playing Janet Van Dyne. That would make the most sense to me.
Most likely, and when she went to the microverse or whatever they called it when
The
you go,
subatomic level.
yeah. So maybe she stopped aging or something, or maybe
That's what I thought too.
it might just be more flashbacks. That there's a possibility that it's just we're going to see flashbacks with what she looks like.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Ant-Man is kind of on the lower part of my favorite part of the MCU.
Really?
And yeah, I mean it was like a fun movie, but it was more like I can't see the way I see superhero movies are kind of like comics, where you're just like that was a fun one shot. I don't need to see another one. I'm good. I'd rather see him in the Avengers than a solo movie. So
Well, that's what they're putting in with Wasp, is because they're gonna build like he was fun on his own, but now we're gonna put him more of a team setting. Because
yeah,
he's the only one who's. Well, I mean, there's Tony Stark who has Friday, not Jarvis anymore, but
he still has
he's
a
the
mentor.
most like Arrow and Flash, like CW. He has a team. He has Michael
Mm-hmm.
Douglas in his ear, who wasn't in Avengers.
Who?
Michael Douglas,
Nope.
or not Avengers, but
Civil War.
Civil War. Thank you. But anyway, so Hannah will. I'm thinking is Janet Van Dyne, like you said, when she fell into the into the multiverse, when she fell to the subatomic level in the first Ant, or when we see it in the flashback in the Ant-Man movie, she's just falling. And
Yeah.
apparently, from what I understand, is or Ant-Man said that when he fell to the subatomic level at the conclusion of that movie, he said, "I wasn't there alone." He said there was someone else there,
Yeah.
and so, I think you see her.
You see
It's
like
a
a silhouette
silhouette.
of a person, which was such a weird. It looked like more like a sunspot than anything, but yeah, it was the shape of a woman.
With wings. But my also thing with that whole movie was, so you're shrinking forever. does it mean when they get to that point they're just no longer shrinking? Because technically she would be
Gone.
75 years, or not 75 years, like 20, whatever it is, 25 years smaller.
Yeah.
Because she'd continue to fall for all those years unless you just hit a point where like you're just in that space. Like once you fall through that, once you hit a certain size, you're in another universe and you just go in there.
He stopped shrinking.
Yeah, you're right. He just was there.
Yeah, he stopped until he used the grower thing.
And then we see that reality in Doctor Strange. They said they announced that he goes there.
Okay.
So I actually think it would be kind of cool if Doctor Strange played a small role in all our movies, like kind of wrapping it up. Like he's gonna be in Thor. I think, since he's been to the subatomic universe or microverse, teenyverse, for all those Rick and Morty fans, he should be able to go in there and get, or at least help them figure it out.
Yeah, I mean that's one way of looking at the connections, but I don't know if she's not if she's not Janet. I'm not sure who else she'll play.
Because I don't know that universe very well.
Me neither. Like I said, I've never really cared for
Ant-Man.
the Ant-Man and Wasp storylines. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just the same, especially now that he doesn't have a hand in Ultron. Now I really don't care about the character.
Yeah,
because that's the one thing that kind of kept my attention, was that
it would have been different anyway because it's Scott Lang.
Right, and Scott Lang never did anything either to really catch my attention. So,
mm-hmm. Well, so another thing that's going to kind of throw me off is this will be our introduction to Wasp. So it's Hope Pym, or does she go by Van Dyne? Anyway, so Hope will be Wasp. So the daughter of Ant-Man and Wasp will be the new Wasp.
Yes.
But the same movie we're going to introduce her as Wasp, we're going to be introducing a second Wasp. That's where I think it'd be kind of weird.
Well, I don't think she's going to be Wasp. I think she's just going to be Janet.
Okay.
Because like I said,
like a crazy Janet, like from being in there so long, she's like nuts. And
that's a possibility, but I don't think she is going to be Wasp, because
mm-hmm.
like I said, she's either going to be flashbacks or she is going to come out, but maybe she's going to be young. And
well, the thing is, she'll be young. She'll be the same age as. That will be kind of weird to have two, like,
a mother and daughter be the same age.
Yeah, around the same age.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And that's
or maybe when she comes out, she starts aging rapidly.
Quickly.
Yeah.
That'd be something. But no, I think it's only interesting because it means even without Doctor Strange, Ant-Man could now go to subatomic level, and he has device, like his suit now grows. So he can go in there and come back. The issue before was he couldn't grow. He could just return to his normal size.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you hit that point, you couldn't anymore until he used the that like disc that they had.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. Okay, so that's it for our mystery Ant-Man character. Let's move on to DC's Legends of Tomorrow, because they also had a new casting, and this is the one I'm going to struggle with. So Tala Ashe, okay. I believe it's Ashe. But she has been casted as the newest member of the Legends, and she will be playing Zari Adriana Tomez. Zari Adriana Tomez.
Okay.
I like the name Adriana. Anyway, may not sound like a familiar character to you, but in the comic books, she is known as Isis, and she at one point was the lover of Black Adam in the post-crisis continuity, and she also had a spin-off show from the old Shazam show from, I believe it was the 70s. She had, or 60s. One of the two. I forgot. I have to look that up again. But she had a spin-off series, which was The Secrets of Isis. And so, but not much about this character has been announced. We don't even know if she's going to be Isis. We just know she is going to be, let's see, the description is she's a Muslim American, gray hat activist who was recruited from the year 2030 and who has a secret hidden power derived from an ancient source. So she's part of the Shazam family, in a sense.
The Marvel family. That's what they're called, the Marvel family.
They're calling them the Shazam family. They got rid of all of that.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were still Captain Marvel anymore.
Well, I know that, but I just thought they were still called the Marvel family.
No, Shazam family.
That's weird.
Well, not so much. Yet you have to separate a little bit. So anyway, She has the power, I believe, of nature and animals.
Okay.
Um, and so this is Legends Tomorrow. This is just like I believe Jason Inman said that this is like the Star Trek of the CW shows. Like it just anything can happen, and they can just cast a bunch of fun people for little fun adventures and just to sit there and enjoy it. But and it's cool they're getting a new character of color, a new minority onto
Yeah.
the ship. And it's not just a bunch of white guys, which is what a lot of shows suffer from.
And now that they killed Vixen,
No, she's alive.
she came back.
Yeah, that trust me, you don't even want to dabble into what happened in that ending.
I watched one episode of the new season. I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, ouch. But this would mean we'd have now Jax, who African American, Vixen, who's African American, Adriana, who is Muslim American. Trying to think of anyone else who is.
I can also see that being very controversial. Unfortunately, the fact that her character is called Isis, and at the moment,
Oh wow, you're right. I didn't even piece it
and like
together.
you said, there has to be separation.
I wonder if
she might just go by her actual character name and not have a code name. Maybe I think that might be the safest bet instead of trying to be like, oh, we'll call you Iris or.
Well, they might give her something like Okay, this is a stretch. It's like how we had Steel, and he should be Citizen Steel or Commander Steel, and they're calling him Steel instead. They might call her like Shazam or Miss Marvel. I know that's a stretch because we have Miss Marvel and all that.
I'm fine with that.
Mary Marvel. I don't know. You're right. I never thought about that. So they might, move away from calling her ISIS, especially with her being a Muslim American. I think since it says she's a gray hat activist, I think it'd be cool if she was a member of what was that that hacker group in Arrow? I know you don't care, but at the end of the season,
I'm not sure.
Oh my goodness, Helix.
Yeah.
So Helix, and then Helix got away. I think it'd be interesting if she was part of that.
The future Helix.
Because 2030, that's just 15, a little over 15 years in the future.
Yeah.
Isn't that when they went back? No, it was like 2024 was when they went back to find
Connor Hawk.
Yeah, Connor Hawk in the destroyed city.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, on that little fact is, I just was thinking. So, remember when we watched that whole special? Like that was the most exciting episodes. You see old Arrow in Legends of Tomorrow. It was like it was Star City 2024, something like that.
Yeah.
Or 2034, and we saw John Diggle Jr. And we were like, oh, that's weird because it should be Sarah Jr. So did they have him afterwards? And then they corrected it in Flashpoint. So Flashpoint had happened.
Well, they didn't correct it. They just changed it. Like, correct would have been Sarah Lance.
I mean, like, it going to... Yeah, you're right. So that's where I feel like that whole time travel gobbledygook is because now it's like... So in Flashpoint, the whole idea of Flashpoint is he changes the timeline.
Yeah.
But the timeline shouldn't work to, like... Here's point A, and then here's Flashpoint. Like, it shouldn't work to that point. Flashpoint's supposed to be an anomaly that occurs. So, I'm wondering, do you think that, because we just introduced Slade Wilson again.
Yeah.
And he's back, and he's not evil. Well, we don't know what happened at the end, the season finale of Arrow Season 5. We just know that the island blew up. And then we know that Grant Wilson shows up in Star City. That's who's in the Slade costume. And then... cuts off Oliver's arm and, sends the city into chaos. So I'm just trying to figure out I don't know. I try not to fall into that rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the CW is going to do next.
Honestly, especially when it comes down to timeline, it's so confusing. I honestly, that's why I kind of stopped watching Legends, is because as much as, because I remember when they did the Invaders crossover, they were just like, Barry, how could you change the past? Blah 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 blah. And it's like, what are
all
you?
They do is
change the past.
Like, I agree. I like the storylines. The story is interesting. Like week to week, they have little fun adventures, and it's always fun to see the little Easter eggs. But they are the worst.
But they have 2 universes that should be constantly changing, because no matter what they do, like. Here's the funny thing. maybe Flashpoint when Barry went back in time, maybe he didn't change anything. Maybe the big change was when Dr. Stein told younger Stein to go have a baby.
Oh yeah.
And who knows, maybe that started, like, maybe that was
Mm-hmm.
where, Cisco's brother got killed. Maybe that's where Caitlin got her powers, but for some reason, never going to talk about that one. But just, there's so many times they changed the past that,
That would be
it's
interesting.
just,
It's like, yeah, Barry came back to this present time, so all only thing that would have changed time would be his time quake.
yeah.
But Stein actually changed the past.
And they kept it that way.
Yeah, and it was directly tied to, not directly tied to, but like he was introduced in Flash. So for all we know, yeah, you're right. Dr. Stein might have ruined everything.
Yeah, so that's why, sometimes just, and then the whole, like, Captain Cold died, but they went back in time to a time before he was a good guy. They brought him back, so
Well,
he's
they keep
kind of
going
evil.
back to where he.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just too much to follow. But who knows with this new character? I doubt they'll call her Isis. That's just too much of a, like, a sensitive word right now. Like, a lot of people stop naming their kids Katrina. Like, I mean, I know that was
Yeah.
a popular name before, but then it's just like, yeah, let's not name anyone that for a while.
Yeah.
So it's
Um.
gonna be like that.
All right. Well, that was a good one. So we have three topics left that I want to cover. One of which is we'll jump into video games for a second. So Kingdom Hearts, I think it was over on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday at like 3 in the morning, this clip was released of it says like Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer or orchestra trailer. So you hear the music in the background, and you see gameplay. A lot of it's Mount Olympus and like base. So you get to see Sora again, and you get to see a little bit the new mechanics. Like the Keyblade apparently opens up now. Like you can add more bonuses to it. Your combo attacks with like Goofy and Donald are more extreme. You get to see. We get to see Pete and Maleficent. They appear before Hades,
Yeah.
and they have some dialogue about they said we have a question that we need answered or something like that. I have to look again. I watched it briefly. I just recently found the sub that had. I just watched it with the Japanese text, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And then like a couple days ago, not a couple days ago. Wow, I'm just like stuttering a lot. I'm exhausted today. But no, there was the text, and it was like Pete and Maleficent are looking for something because we know they're still out there.
Yeah.
And then it ends with we have Zemnis and so we have Zemnis and
Xehanort.
Ansem. They're both standing there talking to Sora, and they said if you want to bring Roxas back, because he wasn't, bringing him back is impossible, but for you to do that, you'd have to unleash the darkness inside of you. And the whole thing about Sora is Sora really didn't have any darkness.
Yeah.
Inside of him, he's the light.
Because he has Ventus in him or something.
Yes. Ventus's light watches over him.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's what's funny? Quick story. At where I work, a friend of mine, or not my friend, my manager asked me, "Can you tell me the story of Kingdom Hearts?" And I said no. You know why? Because Kingdom Hearts, as fun as it is, the storyline is so confusing. It's so muddied.
It's not muddy. It's just a lot.
It's
muddy is not the word.
It's told in so many different like sections. Like, you have all these different games of, you got Kingdom Hearts 2.5 drop something. And
what?
I don't know. They're all these different games that come out, which are just
all that
rehashes of
they're just remastering them.
Yeah, it just gets really confusing after a while.
I don't think it's confusing at all. No, it starts with, if you look at the normal timeline, Kingdom Hearts 1, story of Sora finding his power and beating Ansem. Then it goes to Chain of Memories, which is because Sora became a Heartless in the final fight with Riku. That Heartless split created Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so Chain of Memories is them introducing Organization 13.
Okay.
Okay, then it goes to Kingdom Hearts 2. Well, continuity then would be 365 by 2.
Okay.
365 by 2 days. And that is following Roxas, who is the Nobody created by Sora's Heartless. and it follows that story, and that story directly ties into the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, which then is Sora remastering, coming back, finding out that, like, just recovering from the events that happened from Organization 13 coming into play, and then that game ending, and then going to Dream Drop Distance, or Coded. See, that's the thing. Coded is the only thing that's is up in the air because it came out as a phone game first, and then it became a weird game. But then it goes to Dream Drop Distance, which was them trying to get the Mark of Mastery so they could be Keyblade Masters for the upcoming war. And then you found out the plan of Master Xehanort, and then there is the best of all of Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which is the prequel. It's like what really caused all of these chains to fall into motion. It's Xehanort manipulating Aqua, Ventus, and Terra into conflicting with each other, because really it's all about those three.
But then we have the other storyline of the other great master, or in the characters with the animal masks. Then we got
but we don't know about that. Because that's gonna be in 3.
No,
sorry, that's a bonus feature. That's a bonus thing from 3. It's just bonus info.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like the storyline is just really confusing.
Where, yes, muddy is not the right word.
Okay, not muddy, but it's confusing on where everything kind of falls to place. We kind of have to rely, we still don't even really know what Kingdom Hearts is, and
it's a collection of all the released hearts. They all gathered into one point.
Okay.
And with that, you can unleash the Keyblade, which is, if you've seen the image, it's like 2 Keyblades crossed over.
In the text it's X-Blade, but they still call it the Keyblade, which is weird.
Yeah. So there's not much info aside from that little back and forth we just had. They said the official trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, like we said. So this game was we've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3
10 years.
For 10 years.
That's why I'm kind of I don't really care. I would have preferred that, if they would put a lot more into Dream Drop Distance, I would have just made that Kingdom Hearts 3, and then had this one be something else, just so fans aren't like, okay, when are we going to get Kingdom Hearts in the next moving forward, or are we just going to keep going into the past? Because Dream Drop Distance was the first game that was actually
moving forward.
Yeah, and I think and again, it was for the Nintendo, 3DS, and not everyone has a 3DS, and not everyone wanted to buy a 3DS.
But then
it came out with Coded or whatever remake, like the final mix.
Yeah, but that's the idea. If it's putting it on multiple or more platforms,
and
so you're not replaying the same thing, they add a little bit to it.
Yeah, that's also kind of like, okay, so it's like, you know what, we're not going to put out a new game, but we'll just put out the same game on a different platform, and it's just like, we'll keep you guys busy, but we're just playing the same thing over again. Wasn't after Kingdom Hearts 2, the next game was the final mix, which was just the first game, Chain of Memories, and Kingdom Hearts 2 in one game. Wasn't that what the final mix was?
So. I think so, and it's remastered. But it has it's like the idea of you fought Sephiroth. You could go off, and I think that's where you could find Riku, and you could fight as Riku again, or so I forget. But there are bonus bosses that you can play that aren't canon, but it's just a bonus thing for you to fight.
Right, and
at one point, one of the things that you see is, which didn't tie until later, was the idea that at the bottom of Castle, I think it's Castle Oblivion, or no, The World That Never Was, which is a level in the game. I know I'm just rambling, and a lot of people who aren't Kingdom Hearts fans have no idea what we're talking about, but you see Ansem, or Xemnas. I said Ansem before. Xemnas. So, I got really... There's so many... The main bad guys are 4 different people mixed together. So, you had Xemnas, who is Terra.
Okay.
Which was Xehanort. Okay, it's confusing. It's confusing.
And when I say muddy, I think of muddy as it's dense and it's hard to see through, and once you're in mud, it's very confusing to see your way through.
No.
Yes.
No.
Continue.
Because it's very clean. It's just confusing. If you're playing the game, every dot connects. Every dot connects. It's not like we just talked about Legends tomorrow. That's muddy.
Yeah.
This is not muddy. This is confusing. They're both confusing, but one of which you can connect the dots and figure everything out. Like I could walk you through and tell you why each point of Kingdom Hearts leads to one. Or we just talked about Legends of Tomorrow or the CW DC universe, and we're like, we don't know why this happened.
Do you know in Kingdom Hearts there's a character who has a Keyblade? That Keyblade has an eye on it. That eye belongs to someone. And what they do is have that character wander the world with he does something. I don't know how. Again, it's confusing how it works because it belonged to the great master like long before. With everything, it's one of the bonus features.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy he gives one of his apprentices the Keyblade that has his eye on it, and he wanders the world so his master is able to see the future in the past.
Okay. That sounds amazing to me.
That's so confusing. We don't even know how he's like it makes
But
no
you know
sense.
why? We didn't
Kingdom
play the
Hearts?
game. No, we didn't play the game.
It's not a game. It's like cutscenes. It's a movie. It's like one of those.
So
it's
it's
just
coming with.
no. I don't know. So let's talk about the actual like game play.
We can't. Well, we can see little bonuses, but there's not much. It's the same thing as before. It's a lot of quick action play.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows new mechanics of new bonus features. It looks like you can add something to your Keyblade to extend power, so it opens up. You can do more mass damage, but aside from that, it's not much more. We see the same like Titan fight. Like we know we're gonna fight one of the Mountain Titan, Mountain Lava Titans from Hercules at the Mount Olympus stage. But not a lot has been revealed. But like I was trying to say before, is we will be getting the official full Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer at D23, and that's gonna be next month. That's almost a complete month away because it'll be July 14th to the 16th is D23. So we'll be getting that, and we should also be getting a new Star Wars Last Jedi teaser or trailer.
Yeah, well,
wasn't the last one a teaser?
Yeah, that was at a celebration.
Yeah, so we'll be getting more details from the Disney convention.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still got 2 more things to cover before we're done with this episode, and I know one of them is going to be a little bit more of a focus. So we'll jump to anime for a second, and then we'll go to Wakanda. But so for Dragon Ball Z, if you're a big fan of the series, or even a not mediocre, but a light, shallow fan where you're kind of in and out, you know who Master Roshi is. Master Roshi is the old turtle hermit. He is a master of martial arts. He's the guy who trained Goku and Krillin and Yamcha and Tien and Chaozu and all of them. He has the beard and he has the turtle, and he is a pervert. Like he's the one who's always reading Playboy magazines or Sports Illustrated magazines, and his nose is always bleeding. And that's his character, and that's why he's the comedic relief of the series, or one of them.
Yeah.
Well, and we were gonna have an episode based solely on Dragon Ball Super that we just haven't gotten to yet. But the series Super comes after Dragon Ball Z, so it's
after the Buu saga.
Yeah, it's after the Buu saga. I wanted to say it's the 3rd series, but it's not because GT, it went Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. They got rid of GT and then now put in Dragon Ball Super. But Super is a great series so far. I mean, we've got Battle of the Gods, which we introduced Beerus and Whis and Gods of Destruction. We then went to Resurrection F, which was the rebirth of Frieza and the power of Golden Frieza. We then had the Multiverse tournament, which was, we said, there are there are multiverses in the Dragon Ball Z universe. Each God of Destruction basically reigns over each one. And it was Goku's universe versus the brothers. Okay, so
it's sister universe.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say the God of Destruction of Goku's universe has a brother, and that brother reigns over like Universe 6.
Yeah.
And there was a tournament between 6 and 7, and we get to see new people, new Saiyans. It expanded this universe because after a while you're like, how can there always be someone stronger than Goku in that universe that never showed up to stop Buu or anything?
Right.
And this explains it. Like, Goku is the strongest in that universe, and in this universe there's someone just as strong, but it makes sense why they never knew about each other.
There's a character that's stronger than his Super Saiyan Blue Kai, yet he is still not the strongest person in that universe. So
Well, there's one whose power is he manipulates time, and then but it's Dragon Ball Z, and it's Dragon Ball Z logic. This Dragon Ball Z is muddy.
and that's the problem with it because right now I know that it's up in the air about like what Super Saiyan Blue is like. Are you a god? Are you just tapping into god power? Again, that's not really
you're tapping into god
that's
power.
not really explained. But now you introduce more characters that are like, oh yeah, they're just as strong as you, and you're tapping into a power of a god. So that's where it's just like, in reality, Goku and Vegeta should be like sweeping this everybody because they're tapping into god powers.
But they also mentioned if you watch the last episode, last 2 episodes ago, they said, hey, just because you're a god of destruction, there are people stronger than the gods of destruction, like Toppo.
See, my thing is I didn't like that because I want Beerus and Champa and all these other gods. I want them to be like they are the top, so we know what the top is, and now we just gotta see everything in between.
Yeah, well, so the idea, from what I understand, is that you're not born a god of destruction. You raise to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are proclaimed the god of destruction. Like, I think someone told me that like Vegeta could have been a prospect to be god of destruction next. Like, he's strong enough to get to that point. But no, there are some people who are just lazier than others. Like, for the most part, Beerus, who is the god of destruction for Goku's universe, is very lazy. Like, he doesn't train a lot. Goku trains constantly just to beat him.
Right.
So I think eventually they could hit that power level. But like they said, power levels are bullshit.
It is,
like
but that's just next season if we get to another a saga, if we get to another saga, if they win, which would be very interesting if they lose. I don't know.
I think they're gonna lose, but the wish is that they merge all the universes into one. That way, they don't have to cross dimensions to find each other.
I just want to follow the Koba and the two Saiyan girls. They are so much more interesting than anything that's happening right now. Because they introduced a new concept of going Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that it all comes from your back.
Yeah, focus on a point on your back. And it's like, oh yeah, if you do that, going Super Saiyan's really easy. Because if you think about this, so they never knew about Super Saiyans. So imagine, for anyone who's ever played Skyrim, right? When you level up, you stop leveling up until you put your power into either attack, stamina, or your magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can keep leveling up, but if you don't, move that cap, you don't go anywhere. So I think the Saiyans in that universe, they're all powered up to be Super Saiyan because even Vegeta says when he's fighting Koba in the tournament that you and me are the same level when we're in base form, which is they just have black hair. So once Koba was able to tap into Super Saiyan, that the cap disappeared and now he's able to get stronger. That's the same thing with when Goku and Vegeta went to their god forms, because like let's say their cap was 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't go past 75, but once they went into Super Saiyan God, that cap disappeared and now they can start filling up their powers again. So so that's why I'm really interested in the Saiyans, because right now they're really strong. Like most of them, I'm pretty sure all the Saiyans in that universe are as strong as Goku and Vegeta base form. But now that they're able to tap into their Super Saiyan forms, their powers are just going to keep rising. So that's what makes me interested, because in the latest episode, the girl Super Saiyan that everyone's loving right now on the internet, she went Super Saiyan 2. And she just turned Super Saiyan, and she was able to tap into Super Saiyan 2.
Well, they're saying that legend, because so this character is
I'm not talking about Brawly. I'm talking
that person's. Oh, you're talking about the
the first female
Why would
Saiyan.
she was Super Saiyan 2?
Because when she was fighting Girl Brawly, her hair went up except for that one strand, and she was covered with electricity. That's the indication of Super Saiyan 2 is electricity.
Really, there's electricity when Goku turned Super Saiyan? Yeah.
No. That was just like static form being shot off. But when you go Super Saiyan 2 and there's electricity covering you and you have the one strand, that's indication of Super Saiyan 2. And also, it's Dragon Ball Z, so
it's muddy.
They'll think like, okay, that's cool, electricity on Super Saiyan. But like, you know what? Let's go for Super Saiyan 2. There's more electricity. that's kind of the like I feel like Dragon Ball Z just kind of goes along as it, they come up with new things as they go. But anyways, we were talking about Master Roshi,
Yeah.
and
So in this series, wow, we really got off topic with that one. But no, so in Dragon Ball Super, Master Roshi went kind of beyond, has gotten, like, personality wise, has gotten beyond the point of just being like pervy and like watching girls to like now he's like rapey. Like that was our phrase. So in episode of 89, Goku has to go and he's recruiting people for this tournament, and he goes to get Tien, and at one point Tien is dealing with like a young woman who's coming to his dojo. Well, Master Roshi offers to train her and like picks her up and carries her to a room and like locks her in this room with him as he's like trying to touch her and is like really too close to her, and it's like no longer funny.
everyone kind of just like, oh, that's Master Roshi for you.
Everyone's like, oh well, we'll just walk away and ignore this. And it's like, no, he's like molesting her. Like it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's not fun. It's not cheeky. It's
weird.
uncomfortable, and I feel like that because in the later episodes he goes to Poir and asks him to like, hey, can you become a girl so I can get over my issue,
Pervy,
my pervy nature, and he does. So maybe like that's a change for the character, because if you remember in Battle of the Gods, because he plays a huge role in that one by fighting or not Battle of the Gods, Resurrection F. He plays a huge role as in when he's fighting the Frieza Force, and he does not have one pervy like comment in that movie.
Yeah,
it's all about like, hey, have you guys been keeping up your training? Okay, if we're gonna do this, we have to separate. And like he's like telling everyone what to do. He
goes back to being a master, not just
he was like he's
a bit.
Yeah, he was Jackie Chun. Like he was like because remember in Dragon Ball, the whole reason why he entered the tournament was to teach Goku and Krillin a lesson. Like, hey, you guys are stronger than the average human, but always remember this: there's always going to be someone stronger than you. And that was the whole point of Master Roshi becoming Jackie Chun. And you're like, oh, he actually has a purpose instead of just being, like you said, a bit. So I think people realize like the positive feedback or a positive response to his role in Battle of God and Resurrection F. So they're like, okay, you know what? Let's get Master Roshi back to being, a badass, because now we're introducing these two new female Saiyans, and I don't want an entire episode of Master Roshi chasing them around.
And I think that's what they're doing by saying, so he trains himself to no longer fall to these urges, which, as uncomfortable as these recent scenes have been of Master Roshi being way too pervy,
you actually you see character development
to it, like to show, oh, now he's no longer going to be that. But the last episode, I think it was episode 91. But anyway, so you see Master Roshi, and in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Cell makes a point of talking about how Goku hasn't created his own technique, and at the end of this episode, you see Master Roshi creating a new technique, like
which Goku will take later on.
I doubt Goku will take it because he has to learn it, but like Master Roshi cranks out these things. Like that's what he does. For someone who can't fly or any of that, he creates these awesome techniques.
Well, it wasn't a new move. It was the demon containment wave, but without the containment part. It was more about
lightning and
grabbing and throwing, because that's what you said. Like the whole point is
to throw him out of bounds.
Yeah, so
just so I can...
it's more like the different versions of the Rasengan, where it's like it's a new jutsu. It's like no, it's not. It's
well, here let me just finish. Like we have really good points on all these two different topics, but for the Japanese Broadcasting Ethics and Program Improvement Organization, so the BOP, they have come and had issues with Master Roshi's behavior in the show, and they have gone out to make the statement saying that in an animation program, there are scenes where an older man is touching younger girls' bodies and peeping on them in their underwear against their wills. These scenes are almost irrelevant to the story, which is
true.
It's true in the fillers, but I can see now that they're saying, "Oh, look, he's gotten past that." I don't like it. I think they could handle it differently. The levels that they've gone to are weird. They could have done what they did in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z with that attitude. But anyway,
he shrunk himself down to watch Bulma poop.
So, peeping on their stories, the guy says, "I love watching this show with my child every weekend, but it is inappropriate for the child to see it in this anime, which is completely true. Unfortunately, from what I understand, is that the BPO make these complaints against a lot of anime because
Oh
there's
yeah.
a lot of
Oh my
harem
gosh.
and
Well,
fan service,
harems aren't the problem. Harems just
like fairy tale.
yeah. Oh my
Fairy
god.
tale is a lot of like
Lucy.
breasts and swimsuits when they're not needed. But I guess this is just like it's like almost it's more official, but it's on the same lines as like the million moms against something on TV. Like they didn't like gay people on TV. And not saying this is the same thing.
Yeah. This
This
is
is
an
actually for
actual.
something, but it's nothing changes. Like they make their opinion. They're like, hey, we're not okay with this, but they don't correct it. Like they're not gonna
Right.
go through and change the story or the animation because it's already
Well, see, this
in
one,
process.
this could be fine because there's like, Master Roshi could go back to being pervy. That wasn't really the issue. It was the fact that
It was rapey,
he was
not
getting
pervy.
very rapey, and he could and they can, because again, a lot of the shows that they were talking about, that's the whole point of their show. Like that's the whole point of fan service and these very rapey kind of scenes. Dragon Ball Z, for the most part, is an action adventure show. So when you throw that in there, you're like, okay, you can actually change that by just saying, hey, you know what? We're not gonna have Master Roshi lock himself in a room with a girl trying to get her naked and feel
Mm-hmm.
her up. Like we could actually avoid that very easily. So for Toy, I think it's Toy Animation who does this.
Toy.
Yeah, and Akira Toriyama, this should be like a no issue. Like, oh yeah, we can do that easily.
Yeah, I'm just saying like now they have to go like creating the animation is not easy. There are a lot of like different stages. I'm just saying like
But now
but
they
now
know what
it's
to avoid. They know
yeah
what to avoid.
yeah to avoid. I get that. Because it's just like there's a lot of censorship in like the One Piece series and stuff like that for the most part. But yeah, so this was just something interesting I thought because we had recently talked about this, just when we were discussing Dragon Ball Z a couple days ago that Dragon Ball Master Roshi was a little bit too much, and I just thought it was interesting that this would pop up.
Right.
So let's move on to our final topic of the day. Because this is gonna be a long episode because we're already at 46 minutes. So, on what was it Friday? There was a poster released from
Yeah.
Marvel, and it was for Black Panther. Now, this poster, everyone had their own opinions on it. I didn't like it very much. I thought it was too
Nope.
big.
It was a really bad poster.
Yeah.
It was something you remember when Force Awakens kept putting out those like weird like animated posters of like Rey, Finn, and Poe just like not doing anything. They're just standing there. That's what this looked like. This is not. If Marvel had any sense, this would not be what they use as promotion. Like,
Yeah, but I can understand why they showed it because it was just excited because they announced, hey, here's this tweet, but then it was either tonight or the next. Yeah, it was that night.
No, it was the next. It was the. I want to say it was the next day. I'm not sure because I know it came out during It came out during the finals game.
Yeah, so I'm saying I see this is where we're bad at this. It was either the morning of or the day before they released this poster, and it showed Black Panthers.
It was Friday.
Okay, so it was him sitting on a throne, but the throne was huge, and it was in this big empty throne room, and it said, heading into the NBA Finals game tonight because we're gonna release the first teaser for Black Panther. While everyone has different opinions on the poster and how the poster looked because there have been a lot of bad movie posters ranging from like Spider-Man Homecoming, and then there was just not everyone's happy with all the posters that are created, but the teaser hit.
Yes.
And the teaser was amazing. It showed us just enough of what we wanted to see. Like any good teaser or trailer, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know the story. We just know that we're going to see Wakanda. We're going to see Claw. We see
Killmonger.
Killmonger. That's
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. We see Manape.
White Ape.
No, it's Manape.
Is it?
It's Manape.
It's It
yes,
is.
you see Manape fighting, and that if you ever watched Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that animated series, Manape is in it. They actually have a really cool like focus on each of the Avenger characters. But no, it was great. For someone of color, it was nice to see a full, very strong cast of black actors who aren't playing
Slaves.
slaves, not playing urban youths, or people who are
Well,
just
urban
trying.
youth is not the problem.
Not
It's the
no,
fact that they're playing someone who is being, uh, they're not the help. They're not, they're not.
but it's also not a, oh, look at us trying, we're trying to come up from the bottom. Like,
Right.
these people are already there.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts? Because we see the trailer starts out
Claw.
with Claw, who's played by Andy Serkis, and then who, I forget the name.
I just call him Bilbo, even though it's Gollum and Bilbo talking again, which is
I didn't. Wow, you're right. It is them.
But that, I mean, I love the fact that Claw's in it because Claw's a very prominent Black Panther villain. My only issue is that right now, Black Panther has 3 main villains. That's Claw, Killmonger, and Manape.
Well,
and each one of these characters in this movie. So that's my only like concern I have.
But it's not going to be like it's not going to be like Spider-Man 3 where each one had a big role. I think Claw's introduction is going to be more on a, like, they're not big bad villains. Like, Killmonger will be the big issue, but like Manape I think is going to be like, he's going to challenge Black Panther, and Black Panther comes and shuts him down early. Like, that's our introduction to him. Claw is the overarching, like, he is his main threat's not physical, or not, like, it's not, I'm trying to think of the right word. What he's going to do isn't something that's going to kill Black Panther, but it's going to hurt Wakanda versus like Killmonger, who is coming for Black Panther.
It's not. We don't even know if Killmonger's going to be Killmonger in this. He could be, because I know at some point in the comics, I believe they were friends, and then something happened and they turned on each other. So
I didn't think it was Killmonger. I thought he was supposed to be like White Wolf.
No, okay. As far as I know, it's Killmonger.
I mean, it was supposed to be his brother.
I mean, I'll double check, but
okay.
Overall, look, the trailer it's amazing. It really is. You see, I can't remember the actress's name, but you see Michonne. She's in there
from Walking Dead,
and she's one of his bodyguards. And his bodyguards are all women, and they are the baddest. They are the baddest of the bad. And so, and you also see Lupita Nyong'o. I'm not sure who she is playing either, but she has hair, so I don't think she's part of. She's not one of his bodyguards, but she's probably still going to be, a badass. So let's see. Michael B. Jordan is going to be playing.
Well, while you're looking that up.
Nope. Yep. He is. He's Eric Killmonger. So, like I said, I don't know if he's going to be the Killmonger as Killmonger. He might just be like, hey, this is Eric, and something by the end of the movie, kind of like what they did with
No, I know what you're talking about. Moto.
Yeah. So it's Chiwetel Ejiofor's character from
Baron Mordo.
Baron Mordo? Is it Baron Mordo? Yeah, I guess you're right. So maybe he might become a villain by the end. So
yeah, no, I'm like I said, I don't need to know. I don't.
Right.
We're still. It comes out in February, so we still have half a year to go, at least 6 months, because it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. We have 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know anything.
Right.
And I don't want to know anything. I do want a fuller trailer just to see a little bit more of action.
Well, we need a you got the teaser trailer and then you get a story trailer. Unfortunately, you need to have a story trailer, because if you have. That's what
want
bad
a Spider-Man thing where we've seen. I don't like the argument where they say you see too much, but with Spider-Man we've seen a lot of footage.
That's
I don't want that for Black Panther.
That's the fault of every Spider-Man movie. For some reason, they always show too much in the trailers. But right now, the importance of Black Panther is that this is the highest budget film that a black director with a mostly all black cast is doing, and it's the same story for Wonder Woman. It was another budget that was the highest for a woman director, and she killed it. So now, and when you think about it, because I still think Black Panther should have been in like the second phase 2 of Marvel.
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion. But when you think about it, at that time, I don't know if we would have this team. We had to wait. We had to wait for a Michael B. Jordan.
It all came to this moment.
Yeah, we had to wait for.
I'm happy.
Lupita Nyong'o to get to where she is, and then same thing with Ryan Coogler, the writer and director. We had to wait for these these individuals to become what they were to finally get to the status of what we can see with Black Panther. And I'm glad I'm content that we had to wait this long, but I'm mad, but I'm happy when I see like the team behind it, because I don't think we would have this team. We would most likely have had
Just like Wonder Woman, we had to wait for
Patty Jenkins.
Thank you.
But,
I know a Patty Bates. That's why I keep saying that.
but we would have had to wait, or we would have had a white director, white writers. The Black Panther would have been coming to America, where we see Wakanda for like 5 minutes, and then it's him coming to America, and it would have just been him here in the United States. But no, Black Panther needs to be at least 75% in Wakanda, and I think that's what we're going to get with this movie.
No, I completely agree. But no, so we're not going to do a scene by scene. There are just a lot of cool shots. There's a shot of Black Panther on a flipping car, and he jumps from one flipping car to another flipping car, and there's a sweet playlist behind it. There's
Legend Has It. That's the song. Legend Has It.
There's this dude. I mean, and it just shows African culture without. I mean, it's not going to be forcing down your throat, but it's prominent in the movie. They're set in Africa, but there's this one shot where it's this dude with like a gauge.
Yeah, a thing in his lip. I can't remember what it's called.
It looks like someone said it looks like an ashtray.
Yeah, but it's awesome because right now, as we know, Wakanda is the most advanced civilization in the world. So the fact that they are mixing that advancedness with African culture, it's awesome. And it's like, oh man, I don't know if this would fit in our world. It's like, no, it's kind of like Blade Runner if it was clean and it was prominent in African culture. The fact that they have flying ships, I'm like, that's awesome. Like the buildings are tall, and I love it. And they still have these we see a council meeting of these African advisors, and it's like, that's awesome. The fact that and I still, like I said, this movie, I'm predicting that this movie is going to be one of the best solo first solo films in Marvel,
origin films,
up there with the original Iron Man. Yeah.
No. So ultimately, is it a yay or nay for you?
That's not even a question. It's a absolute yay.
Absolute yay, and it's a yay for me too. Yeah. We could probably go on and on about this one, just like we did for Dragon Ball Z and Kingdom Hearts. But unfortunately, we both have to get to. We play in a kickball league, which starts in less than an hour. So we gotta wrap this episode up so we can get ready to go. I just want to thank you guys for sitting down, taking a chance to listen to this episode. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook is TokenNerd00. We also have Instagram and Twitter, which is Token_Nerd. If you keep up with our social medias, we're giving away giveaways. We actually have I think it's starting this Thursday, I believe. So you have an early idea of what's coming. We have a really cool Funko product for the upcoming Transformers movie, courtesy of our sponsor, Tenacious Toys, which you can find at TenaciousToys.com and at Tenacious Toys on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But no, we will be giving a little hints away on our social medias for that to come. We're going to give that giveaway, and I think the day that Transformers comes out is when we'll announce the winner. So keep up with us to find out what that item may be. Also, Addison here he has his own little podcast, and that is the Real Film Geeks podcast. Yes. We're actually, I'm personally trying to talk him into doing a review so we can do one on Token Nerd since we have Black Panther coming, and Black Panther is the first African American or Black-led Marvel superhero. I think we should talk about the first. Okay, you're right.
First all black, 90% black cast, director, writers, but
was Blade.
Yeah. No, Blade was. He was like there was only like 3 black people in Blade.
Oh, then what was it?
Huh?
What was it?
No, I'm saying Black Panther is the first black team led.
Anyway, so mine is we're gonna talk about Shaq in the hit movie Steel.
We move 5 steps forward, and you just want to take us 10 steps back. That's cool. That's what Steel is.
So
Steel
anyway,
is 10 steps back.
I'm trying to talk him into. We're gonna watch that movie. Hopefully, sometime this weekend we'll do a review and post it online for everyone to check out. But I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Oh yeah, so Real Film Geeks, you guys are on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram and Twitter. Mostly Instagram. We get more hits on Instagram.
Everyone gets more hits on Instagram.
Real Film Geeks, REEL, because we are clever.
At REEL Film Geeks. All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in once again. As always, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Addison.
Stay spicy, my friends.
Hey everyone, this is Travis Likens from Token Nerd Podcast, and I'm here today to tell you something about sponsorship. That's right, Token Nerd now has a sponsor. The fine folks at TenaciousToys.com, your source for designer toys, pop vinyl, original art, and more, are now our sponsor. And guess what? As a part of that, you can get 10% off your next order at TenaciousToys.com by entering the code TOKEN10 at checkout. That's right, 10% off. And not only are they giving you this code, they're also going to be sponsoring many of our Token Nerd giveaways in the next coming months. So make sure to follow us at token_nerd on Instagram to catch our latest giveaways.